this is going to lead me to who I am and why I am, who I live for, and why I do what I do. I was born in the Dominican Republic, in a small town. It's called the Town of the Beautiful Sunsets. It's Mao. I was born to an immigrant father, and I was born to a mother who came from a family who made money out of, the land. They used to raise horses. My mom used to be the one from there's 27 of them. Like, my grandmother had 27 kids. Isn't that amazing? I don't even have one, and I'm going crazy. So, my mom used to be the one with her brothers. She was a tomboy. That when the horses used to go, my mom used to run behind them, grab them by the hair, and just jump on them. That's how amazing my mom. When she tells me these stories, I can't believe it. I get so proud. Today, my mom is very disabled. My mom could barely walk. My mom relies on me and my siblings in order for us to take care of her. I live with her. I'm a grown woman that lives with her mom, and I'm very proud of it. My mom put me through school. So I was born over there. At the age of 2, I was diagnosed with cancer. I was 2 years old. I was diagnosed with cancer. It's a rare blood disease. It's called leukemia, myeloid, which means that my blood, this is gonna sound funny, my blood had hair. Like the little blood cells, you guys will go through anatomy and all of that in a while in chemistry. So I was dying. I was born sick, but then I was diagnosed with cancer. I was dying. My mom traveled to St. Jude's. You guys seen the commercials?
Yes.
Yeah. I was lucky to get picked for a program for people in third world countries, because I came from a poor town. And I was brought to St. Jude's in Tennessee, and I was okay. Then my whole family, we migrated here, and we were living life. I went to school. I was in junior high school. I've always been athletic. I was selected by the basketball team Reebok. I used to play basketball for Reebok, which was a big thing, the female finesse. There was a huge event at one of the Olympics in Atlanta. I don't know if you guys are into sports. There was a huge bombing in one of the Olympics here in the United States. I actually got selected to go, not to participate in the Olympics, but I went with my team to go see the USA women team play. So during the halftime, my team we were gonna go on court, we're gonna play basketball, and we're gonna shoot. Unfortunately, we didn't make it. While I was there, I started feeling very sick. I had this pain in my back, my hip, and I could barely walk. I had no idea what the hell was going on with me. I was 12, 13. So I came back home from New York. The Olympics, the event for us were canceled. We were sent back. We actually, in a bus. They forgot the plane. My mom took me to the hospital because I got very sick. Started losing weight. My hair started falling. And I wasn't looking too sexy. I looked a mess. And I got diagnosed with cancer again. One more time. I'm a 13-year-old who's about to graduate junior high school. I'm hairless. I'm skinny. My joints are bigger than anything you can think because my muscles were going away. And I thought I was going to die because I already beat cancer once, right? You guys hear that people died of cancer and they don't make it. So there I am with a single mother who's very sick. My siblings who at that age, they had no idea because sometimes your brothers get sick and you guys don't pay attention to them. Who has little siblings? When they get sick, they become annoying. Right? They're just annoying. They're coughing, the boogers are everywhere. It's just annoying. Your mom the attention is 100% on that little thing, right? On those little kids. My mom never did that to my siblings. I was never raised to break. I was broken. I thought I was broken. My body, it was a disaster. My body was a simple disaster. I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom. My mom had to lift me and take me. So of course, Ruby's gonna die. That's what I thought. I'm not meant to break, my mom tells me. She always told me, you're my child or you're God's child. You're not meant to break. You're not meant to break. So you're gonna get up, you're gonna go to the bathroom, you're gonna take care of yourself, you're gonna go back to bed, and every time you need something, you have to go get it yourself. Imagine me walking, feeling that I'm walking in broken glass. That's how much my feet hurt. I was broken. My body was broken. My soul was broken. I was hairless. I was bleeding from my nose. Every time I got up, it was always bleeding. I was bleeding. My mom always told me, and I never understood why this lady every time told me, you are not meant to break. Anybody understands that? It's not that my arm is gonna fall off, right? Because I'm so skinny and my bones and my joints are showing, but I never understood why mommy always told me, Rubina, you are not meant to break, you're not meant to crumble. Fine. Who does chores at home? Dishes and things? But you guys have, can you imagine me sick? Atrapear, mapear, the dishes. What's your name? Who? Mark, la basura, take out the garbage, right? And you sitting down watching TV, my mommy, always at the wrong time, right? So I'm sick, skinny, hairless, throwing up from chemo. Who knows what chemo is? It's radioactive fluid put through your veins that kills the cancer. You throw up. If I felt sick before, I was even worse going through this. My mom will always say, Rubina, get up, it's your turn to do the dishes. Here's a bucket. Don't throw up on my dishes. You throw up in the bucket. She never let me feel sorry for myself, ever. I used to look at this lady like, yo, really? Are you serious? I have to get up, dying, broken. My soul, I'm dying, and I have to do dishes? I was like, might as well put them in the casket for me. Right? Right? Nobody wants to do dishes when they're sick. You do dishes when you're sick? I'm like, no, the soap is gonna get you even sicker, right? That's why your mom tells you. My mom never told me that. My mom always told me, you're not meant to break, you're not meant to crumble. Never understood. To the glory of God, I got better. And around that time when I got better, we went to a church that was around my neighborhood. I grew up in church. But the mistake that we make when we're young is that we take everything as a joke. I used to go to Incarnation Church. It's in 175th Street and St. Nicholas. I did my sacraments. I read when I did my first communion. I got up with my little veil, my whole dress. I picked it up, and I was done. I was reading in Spanish like I owned the church. Because I wanted everybody to see me. I survived, and I'm doing my sacraments. Pictures, please. And I post, right? Everybody wants pictures when you're dressed up. Okay. So I went to that church, and there was a youth group going on. I was already 14 and a half. I entered high school, even though I was going through treatment. And it used to be called, I don't know if they're still around because I haven't been to the parish in a little while, Jóvenes que Progresan. You remember that church group? Jóvenes que Progresan. And they were well known in the community. They were so active. Till this day, my best friends are from this youth group. I grew up in church. I did everything. I went to retreats. But I never understood why was Jesus exposed and why I saw people crying. And I'm like, you want to cry? Beat cancer. Go through that. Why don't you go through cancer and let me know how that feels? Why don't you get some crying from that? Right? He never understood why they won't put him. And people would just drop in his presence. I never understood that. Have you guys seen it? Have you guys seen when the Father brings Christ and everybody just drops? And people just go crazy. And people start crying. I was like, big cancer. Because, I had that attitude like, you know what? I'm not meant to break, and I didn't break. So why don't you beat that? Right? I have my health issues because going through something like that leaves little issues that you still need to deal with. But I started going to the youth group. And then, I don't know what made me think that I could sing. I joined the choir. I can't sing for the love of me. But there I was, because I wanted people to see me. I wanted to be the first one up front, with the microphone right here. Gloria a nuestro Dios en cuanto de los. People were looking at me like, cállate la boca. So what the director used to do, this is Jose, what he used to do is that he used to say, Rubina, why don't you stand right back here, right back here. I mean, there were a bunch of older people up front, and right back here, literally, was me. He said, stand to the back, because you can't sing. And I feel bad telling you in your face. I was like, Rubina, you can't sing. I was like, tú cantas horrible. I was like, tú desafina, you sing out of tune, and you think you're like the bomb. I was like, I am. I was like, you know what I am? I look the bomb, and I beat cancer. I'm not meant to break. I didn't break, so take that. People used to look at me like, cancer got your brain. Stand to the back. For many years, I stood on the back of the choir. I did. I sang, and I kept going to the retreats. I kept doing all of that. One day, one person came to the youth group and he changed my life. And he spoke about my body, temple of God. That was his topic that night. My body, temple of God. I was like, how will Jesus live in this body? Because I have cancer. Why would he live here? I was like, yeah, not gonna happen, right? Think Jesus is gonna pick me to live in me? I was broken. I was sick. So you think Jesus is gonna pick that? I didn't think that. My faith, I have no faith in that. He's one of my good friends now. His name is Carlos Acosta. One of the most amazing leaders in the church that I've met in the charismatic movement. One of the most amazing ones. And this is all he did. He spoke and he said, you are a child of God. He created you to his image. You will never break. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter whether you cherish him or whether you worship him. He loves you. And you will never break. I looked at him and was like, this, and I'm gonna go against, I'm like, this man knows my mom. Because this is what my mom used to tell me. Mom used to tell me the same thing. You will never break. At this time I was like, maybe there's something behind this. So at the end of the group, I stand outside. We were planning for a party. The youth group party. You guys ever been to those? Yeah. The church parties? They're amazing. They always have food. Yeah. I always come for the food. And he comes to me. He grabs his Bible and he says, I want you to have this. It's a green Biblia Latinoamericana, which is the one that we use the most. And he gave it to me. And inside of it, he wrote something. And he gave it to me. It was read Bible. I didn't know how to read the Bible. I didn't know because I used to go to church to sing, and so I could get out Tuesdays and Fridays out of my house to hang out with my friends. So he gave it to me and he said, I've seen you around my church. And I said, yeah, I don't no longer live around here, I live on Dykeman. And he says, why don't you come to my youth group? Because it's closer. And he goes, and we have more people and we rock. He said it just like that. Nosotros somos los mejores, we rock. I said, okay. He says, next Friday I'll see you there. I said, yeah, I guess I have a basketball game, but I'll see if I have time to make it. I went the Friday after that to Our Lady Queen of Martyrs. That's my home parish. And my life forever changed. I walked into the youth group. I was wearing my Jordans. I was wearing my basketball shorts. And I had my book bag. It's summertime. It's July. And Jesus was exposed. Of course, I got there late. Why would I get there on time? Right? I'm an addict. I'm a little town boy. I have better things to do than to go to church because on Sundays I only sing in the back of the choir, but I sing. Jesus was exposed. I don't know how, and I don't know what happened, but when I walked in, I felt this breeze. You know when you're walking down the street and it gets really windy that you walk like this? I walked in and I felt this huge breeze, and it was so warm. And I was like, the AC broke. I thought the air conditioner broke. But I felt this warm thing just take over me. And I sat down, and my leg was always like this. Have you guys ever said that you do this? Right? And I was like, ¿qué? I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I was like this. I was like, ay, Dios mío, what is going on in this place? Dad, what's... Everybody's standing up, they're worshiping, their hands are up in the air, people are crying. And I was like, la brujería. I was like, santería. That's what I thought. I've never seen such thing. I never felt, and I couldn't take my eyes off Jesus. And every time I looked, my legs kept going like this because I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, something's calling me. I have this heat inside of me. It's like I can't control it. I had this emotion that I couldn't control, and I had no idea what was going on. Jesus was calling me. That fire that was this small inside of me, we're all born with it. That was this small, that was made even bigger through my confirmation. All of a sudden just went, you see when you feed a fire, that all of a sudden it goes, you guys seen that? That's what I felt inside, and that's the warmth I felt when I came in. I started crying, and I couldn't stop. I got up, I kneeled. I didn't know how to worship God. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know what to say. I walked in there not knowing what to say, not knowing God. I thought I was okay. I sang every day, every Sunday in church, and I thought that was it. But all of a sudden I walked in there, and this fire was consuming me, and I wanted more. I wanted the fire to keep on going. The youth group was almost over, and it had been 2 hours later. 2 hours passed, and I was kneeling. I was crying. My arms were up. I have no idea what I was saying. It just took over me. And I've never done this before, and I was not embarrassed. I was always aware of what people thought of me. And at that moment, I had no idea. I was like, what in the world is going on? Of course, when I became self-conscious, I was like, when the priest, when Father took Jesus away, I was like, oh, the tip of my Jordans got dirty. And I looked around and I was like, hey. I was like, that doesn't matter. That's not important. I felt loved. felt that I meant something. I felt that it doesn't matter what I went through, that I almost died, that didn't matter. I felt some type of love that I still didn't understand where it was coming from. I didn't understand. So years went by, I got sick again, 3 times in my lifetime. 3 times. I battled cancer 1 more time when I was in high school. And by that time, I fought with everything I had. You wanna know why? Because I knew and I understood that I was made by God, for God, and I was not meant to break. I was not gonna break. He was not gonna give me a disease for a 3rd time that I was not gonna beat. And it was tough. Why? Because I was going to the youth group, I was very active in church, and I was living life. And I was getting ready to go to college, and I had things to do. But I knew that God loved me, and He was not going to give me a disease that I couldn't beat. So that's how I met God. I walked in thinking I was the bomb into a youth group. That's that. Let me tell you how I got to work with the homeless. Growing up, let's go back to the town where I grew up, right? Remember, I grew up in DR. I was born there. Then I came here. Who's been to a poor country? A country where there's people, beggars in the streets. Have you guys ever traveled out of the US? Yeah? Mexico, where have you guys gone? Huh? Mexico? Okay. Paraguay, Ecuador. Ah, no, pues ustedes viajan más que yo. So, just like here, they have the people. At your age, I was very sick, like I told you. I used to take off my shoes, just like Jackie. And the Haitian people used to stand behind the fences in my school. I went to private school over there. I used to take off my shoes and I used to give it to them. My stepmom, the lady that raised me, she wanted to kill me every day. Because every day when she picked me up, she had to go fight the Haitian lady to get my shoes back. She's like, Rubina, stop giving your stuff back. I never understood why I was always either giving my scrunchie back to people or giving you my watch. I never understood why I was always giving my stuff away. I was never attached. And that was one of the things that my mom always argued with me about. Do you guys know someone that's always giving stuff away? Just to give it away. I used to do that. In my youth group, I learned that my calling, my gift, is to serve. I didn't understand that until I met God, until I let Jesus in my heart. And we all have that gift, that one thing that we always do, and people take for granted, that we take for granted, and I didn't know what that meant. I was told that I could never go to med school because I cannot be around sick people. Because I battled cancer, I cannot be around sick people. My immune system, my defense system is not like yours, it's not strong. So my doctors would tell me, forget about it. You could be a lawyer because you're always arguing. I was like, nah, I want to go to med school. I want to do that. I want to heal people. I want to help them like I used to do when I was a little girl, just by giving my shoes away. I went to med school. I first graduated with, I did social communication. I worked on TV, production, and then I was like, I still want to do medicine. Do you guys know by now what you guys want to do when you grow up? No? What do you want to do?
I'm trying to successful work for MTA as a mechanic.
Yeah, you look like a lawyer.
I guess.
Good luck with that. Who else? You guys don't know what you want to be when you grow up? When I grow up, I want to be like Johnny. And I'll tell you guys why.
There you go.
You think I'm already grown up? Boy, you don't know me. Still a long time. I had that urge, and I prayed on it. And I went to many retreats. I wanted to go to med school. But fortunately, I was always told you cannot do it. One day I just got up, I registered, and I went to med school. And I graduated on the top of my class. I did my rotations. Rotations means the hours at the hospital. Who sees Grey's Anatomy? The TV show.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably. But I worked in the hospital, and I said, I got my master's degree in medical administration. But I was at the hospital, and I was helping the sick, and I was like, this is not. And I prayed, and I prayed, and I was like, this is not where I'm meant to be. You know when you sent somewhere and you're there because you have to be? That's probably how half of you feel about being here, right? Sometimes. It's like, para la iglesia. Right? They're like, obligado. Para la iglesia. You have to go to church. And then you were like, okay, mommy. And then there you go. Then there's Johnny. But the little did you know that Ruby was going to be here. I felt that I was in one of the most prestigious hospitals in New York working. And it was not my place. It was not me. I wasn't happy. And I kept praying, and I kept praying. And one day, talking to God, it hit me. I was like, I know what I want to do. I want to work with the homeless. I want to work with the homeless. And there's one song. I went to a concert one time with Johnny. It was somewhere down by Carmine Street, a Philippine church. John Michael Talbot was the singer. I think it was called The Cup of Life. I don't remember the song very well. And this is why I want to be like Johnny. Spiked hair. Imagine Johnny like this. Spiky hair. You see how people do their hair now? Beautiful hair. And looking amazing. I walk in with my friend, and this amazing song comes up. And when I was praying, that song came to mind. I always remember some of the lyrics. And I said, I'm meant to work with the homeless, with the less fortunate. I always went to missions, and I loved it. Like, I went to the poor countries, and I provided services. But talking to God, that's when he told me, I want you to go and work in the shelters. And this is where's my paper. The topic of that night at the church was blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. And I always have this in my office, right here. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. And then we're talking about the corporal works of mercy. You guys know that yet? About this, the corporal works of mercy. You guys are going to talk about that. Let me tell you what God did. As a Catholic, this is what I'm supposed to do. And this is what got me. As a Catholic, I have to feed the hungry. Did you guys know that? As a Catholic, I have to give drink to the thirsty. Yeah, really. As a Catholic, as a woman of faith, I have to clothe the naked. I have to give you clothing. Right? And I'm not going to get into anything because it's going to get too deep. And then listen to this. As a Catholic, I have to shelter the homeless. And this is what I'm trying to, this is me in church, as I'm trying to figure out where I have to work, where could I be happy? I have to comfort the people in jail, we have to comfort them. As a Catholic, I have to visit the sick. As a Catholic, we bury the dead. These are rules that us as Catholics we live by. And as I question God, where do you want me? I said, Jesus. Jesus, my man. Yo, this is me praying. Because I have a personal relationship with God, so I talk to him how I want to, because this is my friend, this is my father, this is my brother, right? So I was like, yo, my man, I can't keep working at this hospital. I just can't. I'm not happy. So, you got me through school when I wasn't supposed to. Tell me where I'm supposed to go. And out of nowhere, the priest starts reading this. Just that. That was his talk of the day, of that night. Círculo de oración in Our Lady Queen of Martyrs. So that was how I found out. So I worked in the shelter system of the city of New York, like I told you guys. That's where my foundation, that's where the faith, that's where my faith, that's where I practice my faith. I am so grounded. I am so, my pillars, my foundation, you see, you know the foundation, this floor? My faith in God, it's so big, and I know it will never fail me. Every day I walk in here and I help someone. I only have like 2 minutes left. But let me tell you something that happened this week. 2 years ago, I used to work in the Bronx. I'm gonna summarize. And I was transferred because I had a gun. One of the clients grabbed a gun and he put it right on my forehead. I'm just a medical provider. I was like, you know what, I'm done. Nobody is gonna go tell my mom I'm dead, and I did not go to med school to come here and get shot, right? So I get transferred to the city, which is where I'm at now. I met this family. This came back to me this week. I met this family, and his name is Ambioris, which is one of my best friend's names. He's a priest. And Ambioris was an 17-year-old who was 19, who was in college. He was a freshman in college. His mom was homeless, and she was bedbound. She was very sick. She was like a vegetable in bed. She couldn't move. And he had a little brother, Adrian. So when you come into the shelters, unfortunately, they tell you you can't go to school. You have to go to work because you need to make money so you can go find an apartment because you can't stay in the shelter forever. Can you guys believe that? School is no longer important. So Ambioris came to me and he says, you know what, Ms. Torres, I think I'm gonna leave school. They're Dominicans like me. And I said, you can't leave school. They said, yeah, but I have to find a job. You know, my mom is a vegetable. My little brother is sick. So I identified, I helped Ambioris find a job. I helped his mom get benefits to help her get better. I helped her with her medical needs. And Ambioris had his job. He went to school. The city helped them find an apartment, so they moved. They moved out of shelter. They were no longer homeless. So they moved. I never saw them again. Because I see so many families in the shelter system that imagine meeting hundreds of people a day, you're not going to remember them all, right? So on Monday, I go to court because I had a mother, I had her child taken away. She had a disabled child, and she hit the child, and she broke one of his ribs. So as a medical provider, I was like, no. So they removed her child. And that's very draining. As a woman of faith, I had my beads. I was holding them in court, and I thought I was gonna break them because can you imagine hitting your baby, a 3-month-old baby, to the point where you break a rib? That's hard, right? And I see this every day. Every day. Todos los días. I come back to my office, and my heart hurts. I'm tired. You know, and I told my coworker, I am physically I am mentally and I am spiritually tired. I can't do this. It's like I get a gun on my head. I get this violence. It sucks, right? Why would you want to work in a place like that? People stink. You telling me how to go shower? They're like, I don't only shower once a week. And it's not today. I get a phone call in my office. And they said, oh, Miss Torres, there's a guy looking for you up here. And he doesn't want to leave. And I said, I don't have an appointment with anyone. I only see women. Oh, can you come upstairs? He needs to speak with you. So I go upstairs, and I see this very handsome man. Gorgeous looking man. Don't laugh, I'm serious. With a baby in his hand. I was like, And he gives his baby to this lady next to him, and he runs towards me, and he just hugs me. He just grabs me and hugs me, and I'm like this. You know when they hug you, and you're just like this? I was like, hi. And then he's like, and he starts crying. He says, I had to find you. I've been looking for you for 2 years. You know when you recognize someone, when you see someone, you're like, I think I know that person. So I saw him, and I was like, I know him, yo lo conozco. But of course, he hugs me, and I'm like this. I was like, hi, who are you? And he just sobbing. You know when a grown man starts crying? Llorando, y llora, and just crying. And he said, I just wanted to find you, and I wanted to thank you. I needed to thank the woman that helped my mom when she was alive. And I said, I know this voice. And he finally let me go. And I saw his face. And you know when you just automatically my hands just went to his face, and I was like, Ambiorix. It was this young guy that 2.5 years ago was in my shelter, and I helped his family out. I never saw them again. They moved, and I never saw them again. For 2 years, he was calling every shelter he could think of. Every shelter he could think of. He was calling the main offices. I work for the city. I work for a federal agency, so they will never let me know where I work at. Especially after the gun incident. They're like, Miss Torres? No. We don't know who she is. We don't know where she works at. And he called Thursday of last week, and he found someone that knew me. And he says, do you know where Miss Torres is at? Dr. Torres. And the lady asked her. Tracy asked him, why are you looking for her? Why do you keep calling here? And he said, I need to thank her. I need to find her because my family is where they are because of her. I was just doing my job. I thought that by me doing my job and caring and paying attention to this kid, I was just doing my job. That's what I thought I did. His mom passed away this summer. She was very sick when she was with me. She passed away, she had breathing issues. He graduated college. We sat down and we spoke. He tells me, I graduated college, I went all the way, like you told me to, I never gave up. Homelessness didn't break me. And I said, okay. And he says, this is my baby. And he showed me this gorgeous baby boy. And I was like, you have a kid? I don't have one yet. I don't have one. And he said, yes. And he says, I needed to find you, not only to thank you, but I need for you to be at my wedding next month. And I am so lucky that God loves me so much that he placed you in my life. And you went away and he placed you in my life again, right when I'm going to give the biggest step of my life, which is getting married. It says, I went back to church because you had a saying in the back of your office. You can either let it break you, perform you, something like that, or you could just roll with it. He didn't break. And just like I started talking to you guys tonight, that my mom always used to tell me what?
You don't break.
Hmm?
You don't break.
I don't break? What did my mom always used to tell me? I wasn't meant to what? Break. I always carry that with me. Doesn't matter what I go through. Doesn't matter what I do. I am not meant to break. And this kid wasn't meant to break, so it might not make any sense to you, but at that moment, I knew that what I do made a difference. I don't do it to make a difference. I do it to help. I do it because it's my duty as a woman of faith, as a Catholic woman, to help others. Just like that one day the priest was talking, and he said he had that message from me, God sent me that message through him. I want you guys to understand that it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter whether you go away, whether you come back, whether you lie, whether you steal, whether you don't come to church. That little light, that little flame, it's gonna get to one point where hopefully there'll be so much fire inside of you that it will change and cleanse you. God will always love you. You're not meant to break. I have that engraved in my office, and I have it in my room, in my bedroom. I am not meant to break. God made you perfect. Your decisions are that's what's gonna make you guys stand out. All right? So, any questions for me? No? You guys go sleep? You guys have school tomorrow? Y'all gonna break tomorrow. All right, guys. Thank you for having me over, Johnny. But we know, I didn't do this. He did it. He did it. So, there's nothing that I would change in my life. There's nothing that I would give away or be like, ay, Jesucristo, por favor. Not again. Whatever he sends my way, I'm ready to take it because I'm not gonna break. I'm not. All right, guys? So to the team that won, I guess you guys can share this. I don't know who wants it. Sorry, I thought you guys all failed the test.
Do not open it.
Don't open it here. You're in church.
Okay.
All right, guys. So thank you for having me. You guys are amazing. Thank you for listening and participating.
We end with prayer right now because we have pizza downstairs for us to share a little bit. So guys, let's end with prayer, and we thank Rubina for coming and for giving her testimony. Thank you so much. Can someone pass me one of the red books so that we can get finish the prayer?